Hey, what's up everyone? This is Bo. In this video, we're going to be building a crosscut sled. I don't have a very large capacity one, and cross-cutting sheet goods has always been a challenge in my shop. I don't have a good method of doing that. I have the Bosch miter saw here, but it can only go up to about 13-14 inches, and honestly it's not that accurate. Instead of investing in some other type of tool like an MFT or like a slider on my table saw that takes up a lot of space and money, we're going to build a very large crosscut sled. And so this crosscut sled is going to be 42 inches wide and about 36 inches deep, maybe a little bit shorter, so I can crosscut up to a 30-inch panel on this. To keep the weight down, because that's a big, that's a giant sheet of plywood essentially. I'm going to be making it like a really small torsion box. I saw this idea on a fine woodworking magazine. I thought it was clever. It may not work out at all, but we're going to give it a shot. So I have some 5mm sanded ply here and some 5mm, basically 3/16 of an inch maple plywood there behind the camera. And then I have some 1/4-inch MDF behind me here, and that's going to be, the 1/4-inch MDF is going to be the ribs inside the two sandwich pieces of plywood. From there, we'll add some solid wood fences to the sled, runners, flip stops, all the things they need for repeatable crosscuts. So we're gonna get started by cutting down these large sheet goods with the track saw. So here we go. So we have the panels getting glued up here with gravity and some weights. While that's drying, I'm turning my attention to the fence for the front and the rear of the sled. And that's going to be made from some ash. I've milled it all up, and now I'm turning my attention to doing some of the sizing and some of the joints that need to be in there. So first off, the fence is 3 1/4 tall. I need to cut it down in height to 2 5/16 to work with. I have some leftover Craig top track T-track system and their flip stop, so I'm going to utilize that as my my stop system, and that needs to be, to utilize the flip stop, 2 5/16 off the bottom. So I'm going to cut this down kind of at this height here, run it over to where the blade's going to be, and then stop my cut there. And I'm going to cut this side as well down just to preserve some weight. I'm going to do the same thing on the far side of the fence. I am then going to have a fence extension piece that's going to be another piece of ash that's going to be just at 2 5/16, and it's going to attach to this existing fence, and I'll get to that coming up. But let's work on our fences first, and then we'll get into how we're going to connect those fences together. So here we go. All right, so the drilling and countersinking of the miter bars went pretty smoothly. Got 6 holes drilled in this 36-inch long miter bar. I also got some polyurethane applied to everything, and that has now dried. I did a light scuff sand and just knocked off some of the grain that raised through and some of the nibs that were on there from drying. The next step in the process is to get these fitting tightly in the miter slots. They've got little adjustment screws inside here to tighten them up in the slot, and then elevate them a bit with some shims or some pennies. Set my sled on top of it with some double stick tape, and then permanently attach the runners. And then we'll start making our first cuts and adjusting the fences and doing all that fun stuff. So. I have to take a little break from the table saw sled to fix a toy that I broke at Christmas. Little Minnie Mouse over here ripped her legs right off. So it's time to do some surgery. Legs here. So the sled and the fence have all been dialed in. It's all operating very nicely, and I was able to get the 5-cut method to within a little below 0.02 of an inch across 5 cuts. So that's plenty accurate. I think it calculates out to be like on a 36-inch wide piece, which is still a little too wide for my sled. It's less than a 64th of an inch across that 36-inch. Distance there, so that's plenty accurate. Now I'm turning my attention to the fences. I have the permanent fence. I've got my top track in there. I've also got some T-track installed and some T-bolts actually hanging out, sticking out here. And I need to figure out a way to attach this removable part for when I make really long cross cuts and I want to put a stop block or something way out here. And so what I've already done is I have a domino glued into this end, and then I have the oversized kind of the wider option cut into this part of the fence. And my plan is to build a small piece of like a wooden T-shape that goes into this T-track and spans across all 6 of these bolts I have here. And I'll leave one side permanently attached, which will be likely to this fence. And then when I want to use it, I bring it in here and I tighten it down to this permanent fence. And then that should hopefully keep everything nice and aligned with the domino plus this T-track. And I think it should work pretty good. So I'm going to turn my attention to that and start cutting down some of the leftover ash that I have and turn that into I guess it'd be like kind of a locking indexing thing to use this for. But first I need to clean up my bench. It's disgusting and full of just everything I've been using. So I need to clean that up and then we'll move on to that. So here we go. So I've got the extension piece kind of all worked out here. Got the extra fence, got some T-bolts and some washers and hardware and all the fun stuff I need. And this just kind of slides in here like that. The domino lines up pretty good. Kind of jam her together, then tighten it up. And the fence is attached. And it's nice and in plane with the original fence. Yeah, it works out pretty slick. So that's good to go. I'm happy with the way that is. Gonna take it off for the time being. There we go. And so now I'm gonna turn my attention to two things left here. One is on the very back of this. I'm gonna put a block on here so the blade I don't put my hand in a stupid spot. But inside that block, I think I'm going to put some type of dust extraction hole in there. Just doing all my 5-cut methods, I made a ton of sawdust. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to control that a little bit better. So I think I'll put a big block on here and then maybe put a small hole in the side that I can stick like a vac hose inside of. And then I think I'm going to perforate the fence with a bunch of holes. Just in this local area where the saw kerf is, to see if I can catch some of that sawdust and pull it in. So in the meantime, I'm going to work on what I believe to be the last feature on this sled, and that's going to be some braces that run front to back that'll get mounted with bolts to the top of the fence here, like this. And then I have some hardware I bought, a little swivel foot, and these little clamps, or these little knobs here. And so what I want to do is I think I want to put a hole, or put a insert, a 5/16 insert in this piece of wood, and then I want to use that to actually clamp down. Like if I'm cutting a really long piece of plywood that hangs off the edge, it might be kind of hard to hold that plywood down and push it through the saw at the same time. So I thought some little these little feet would help to kind of help clamp it. I may put a piece of plexiglass on top here, and maybe a rabbit. I don't know. That'll sit to help once again control that dust, keep it kind of central area, and hopefully I can pull it all through with this little dust port in the back. Alright, so that's going to wrap up this video. The sled is complete and working well. It's got plenty of cross-cut capacity. It's very accurate. I appreciate you all watching. If you haven't, please like this video or subscribe to my channel if you want to see my future content. And as always, have a good one.